Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sandra Black, Ezrath Batsham. That is my spiritual name. And what I am doing today, I've never seen it done, but I want to beseech the African Americans to elect me as their leader. You know, this would be the first time that we pick our own leader. And I wanted to use social media for us to do this. And this is a short version of my request. I have a long version that's explaining much more information, but I want to make this really quick. If I can just do 10 or 15 minutes. You guys know that the situation that we live in America is dire. And when I say dire, I'm talking about the global elite, the Federal Reserve, the corruption, the genocide, the wars, and the hatred of human life. Okay? What I want to do and propose is that we raise up those who are on the bottom, those targeted the most. All of us are targeted. If you're a human being and you're making, it doesn't even matter if you're making billions. You know, Oprah is at the top of this. Oprah, Bill Gates, and all of those billionaires, they're at the top of where we are at. And we are at the bottom. But what you got to understand is that the very top 1%, we're talking about people like Queen Elizabeth. We're talking about the Rothschilds. We're talking about the Bushes. These people with the bloodlines are setting up situations to annihilate the human race so that they can be the only ones left on earth, and those few or the remnant of the human race left over will be their slaves. That's what they want. And it's a long story. Georgia Guidestones. Look it up. They only want us to have 500,000 people on earth. 500 million. 500 million. That's a half of a billion. That's all they want. They said that you must maintain Earth at that for it to be good. So that's proof. They spent millions of dollars to put those stones up there to show that. So my qualifications, I'm a chemical engineer. I've studied world religions, the human origins. Let me hold this since it's going to be a short video and come close to where you can see what I'm talking about. So I have studied the human origins and conspiracy to extinct mankind. I'm an author and a publisher of The Ultimate Deceit, The Human Race, The Ultimate Deceit of the Human Race, the Ezrath Theory, and I'm Ezrath Batsham. I'm 57 years old. I have hardcore experience living in black skin for a long time. This is my book, Ultimate Deceit of the Human Race. And it is 400 pages long. So that's enough on my background. Let's go on what I have to offer you if you pick me. And like I said, this is really something that the world should vote on, because if we lift up black people where they're living happy, everybody else is going to live happier. Because, it just goes to stand. If you take the bottom people and bring them into a friendly life existence, okay? Where we respect human life instead of what we do now. It's a dog-eat-dog world. I'm going to get mine, you better get yours. You see what I'm saying? We changed that. And the world that I want to propose that you help me to help you to build is a human-friendly world. The world we live in is a human hostile, severely hostile world. And I think if you look at the Syrians, they get the worst brunt of it. But all of this is set up by the global elite. And it's already 5 minutes. Darn. Okay, look. You guys, I have a platform. I have a plan. Look, we're going to pick, first of all, we're going to start with the Black African American Ascension 2020. This will be a totally different world if you give me the job. Vote for me. If you give me the job now, subscribe. Okay? Because I'm telling you, if I get 1 million people to subscribe, and look, even if you're not black, if you hate what's going on in America, you can show America how much you hate it simply by pushing the button subscribe, because you hear what I'm saying. I am saying that what's going on in America is really, really bad. But, I'm an honest person. Everything that I will present to you will be from my heart. It will be true. I believe that if we, the African Americans, lift ourselves up, that the whole world will lift up, because we're on the bottom. There's no one that's treated worse than black people all over the world, the Africans, you see? And so how are we going to do this? First of all, you have the Black African American Ascension 2020 or BAAA 2020, Black American Citizens for Equal Rights. That's one group of Black Americans. Then the other group of Black American is an independent nation. We want our own land. We want our own control, our own laws. We don't want anything to do with America. We want total independence. We want the independent lives that was stolen from us and our ancestors. We never agreed to come here. At no time have we agreed to come here. We were forced. And at this time, we're going to liberate ourselves. And so between these two, this is the answer for all African Americans, except for the group that says that there's nothing wrong in America, that America is perfect, that racism is a thing of the past, it's not happening anymore, that black people are just always whining. You don't have to even worry about any of this. You can turn it off because if you don't see anything wrong, like with what happened to Tamir, what happened to so many African Americans, the brother that was shot in front of his girlfriend with her baby on the back seat. I know the events. I'm not good with the names, but my God, he's telling them he's got a permit to carry. I'm giving you pow, 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 pow. Really? The little boy's playing in the park. Nobody is around. So let's say that he is the biggest, ugliest black guy. That's so scary. Can't ugly black guys get a couple of minutes too? I mean, this is a kid. Of course, he wasn't no big, ugly, big black guy. This was a kid, 12-year-old kid, Tamir Rice. Okay, I remember his name. But what I'm saying is that this kid wasn't worth 5 minutes. 5 minutes. He got it in less than 30 seconds, if I'm remembering it right. Less than 30 seconds. Nobody is around. They're in no danger. But yet they had to just drive up, black guy, shoot him dead. And it's legal, justifiable homicide. Justifiable because he's black, you see? Now, if this was a blonde, blue-eyed little 12-year-old white kid and a black guy drove up and just pow, 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 Do you think it would have been justifiable? Please, you guys, you know it wouldn't have been. This is where we're unequal in this country. You see? Because the bottom line is you don't see black guys getting away with freely shooting unarmed white people. They don't get away with it. I think the most anybody ever got away with it was one black guy that only lost his job. But still, he lost his job. These guys get to murder, keep their jobs, get promotions. You see what I'm saying? So there's really something seriously wrong in this country. And that which is wrong is bigger than racism. It is the global elite and the New World Order, which I am here to put an end to it. If you elect me, it will come to an end. And the way it's going to come is we're going to get a 12-person panel. Phil Scott, the Advise, the TV, the Advise. I'm sorry, Phil, I'm messing up your show. The Advise Show. Okay? TV with a common sense approach. That's my buddy right there. Then Joy DeGruy. Joy DeGruy. She's our psychologist that can help understand our psychological damage that has happened to our people. And then we have Atala Shabazz. She is Malcolm X's eldest daughter, and her family will have a seat. And then Martin Luther King III and his family, Bernice King, they will have a seat. And then Seven Bomar. When we are all set up, where everything is rolling, I will join this group here, this committee, where we will be spiritual. Because in our efforts, it's all about putting it all together. You know, you can't separate state and church. You can't separate state and God. You know, we will put it all together. What we can do is we can say that Christians have a right to practice Christianity, to pray to God, to Jesus, in the name of Jesus, ask forgiveness by his blood, they are saved. The same thing with Muslims. They have a right to say that there is no God other than Allah. Okay? Allah, the beneficial, the merciful. I'm sorry, Muslims. I'm not the best. But my husband's Muslim. And I told him I'll never be Muslim because I don't do the religion thing. But I am spiritual. I believe in the Most High, the all highest light that created my soul. So that's what makes me powerful, where I can bring us all together, because I can pray in the name of Jesus. I can pray in the name of Allah. I can pray, Yahweh, raise me up, help me. You see? And the problem is that I know with the religious, they're like, oh, you know, how could you do that? Because I know the Most High, the all highest light, that when the religions all separate and say there is no other but my religion, I know that they all are just branches that lead to the Most High. And when you get on that level of where you're headed to the Most High, or you'll see that the religions, you know, and if you never get there, it's fine. You stay in your religions. But what I want to do is bring us together and unite us. And as we unite, I want us not to be a melting pot where we melt and become one. I want us to be like the Canadians, a mosaic. And what the mosaics do is, in America, you have to melt together and be one. You have to be just like white America, or you don't make it. That's the melting pot. So wherever you come from, all the different places that you come from, you all come together and you melt into one. Just like how the system wants it. And if you don't, you are really gonna, you know, not be as safe as the other people who do all melt together. Now in Canada, they call it a mosaic. And what a mosaic is that there are different parts that maintain and keep their parts. And they work at keeping each ethnic group separate, and not separate as a people, but separate as cultures, so that they don't lose their cultural identities. So this is what I am proposing, that we come together like a mosaic. Oh my God, 15 minutes gone already. Oh, okay, real quick. You guys, I'm going to have to run. You could get the long version, but when we get this 12-person panel, we are going to have two branches of Black American advocacy. One is going to be for civil rights in America, and we're going to stop the corruption and create equal rights. We're going to fix this thing with imprisonments. Like, for example, like what they did with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was crucified because we can't have such a great-looking black guy. They even had to break law. They had to break law. Bill Cosby agreed to settle out. I don't have to let my family go through nothing. I can just settle out, give them what they want, as long as they're going to keep the files closed. So the court is ordered close files. Oh no. We're going to open these files because what that court ordered didn't matter. You see, this is a black guy, and we have to make sure that we evict him. Second of all, everything that was happening to Bill Cosby, oh my gosh, my time is going so fast. But everything that was happening to Bill Cosby is happening, and I'm talking now about how he was promiscuous, okay? What was the culture? Because I'm from that culture. I know the 80s. Women knew this was a culture that had begun, that people were putting things in your drinks, that if a guy got you drunk, that, this is something you walked into. The frat boys, they were always doing this. The first thing I was taught when I came to Tuskegee University in 1980, day one, number one, do not walk through the valley at night by yourself. And number two, whatever you do, guard your drink. Don't go to parties by yourself. Have your friends stay in two, and you never leave your drink alone. Okay, always at all times, guard your drink. Why? Because this was the culture back then. So then why is it that if he was such a person who is a rapist and can't stop, and this is what he does, why did it stop? Why is it that there's nobody from last year or the year before or the year before or the year before? And the only one they got is the one who's talking about, I was given some over-the-counter medicine and he drugged me. Really? And this is what you are going to take a whole legacy down because of this? And yeah, I don't agree with what he was doing with his life, but I do know that this was the culture, and this was things that everybody was doing. And now all of a sudden, we're going to go back. It's just like if we say that smoking cigarettes becomes illegal for smoking them in front of people because you're killing people with the secondhand smoke. Do you know how many people are going to go to jail now? I'm just saying. He quit once he seen the culture was changing. So he moved right with the culture. So that means that he was becoming law-abiding for whatever era he was in. And this is the part that really ticks me off. The reason why they are attacking him is because Bill Cosby is the only human being on earth ever to have a whole lot of kids, okay? There was a whole lot of kids that was under him that he made wealthy. They were rich. They could have turned into drugs and suicide and broke and have nothing. But he had all of his kids, even Bonet, from what I've heard, you don't hear of her like trying to commit suicide and so strung out that she's, overdosing and dying and stuff like all of the other kids. Bill Cosby was the only one, and it was because he told them he put them first. Finish your school. He put their education before his career. And he made the people around him rise up with him. And then when people are jumping on board to try to get a part of him, it's like, okay, now I regret whatever I had with you because I'm not where I want to be. I sit and listen to this Lily, or whatever her name is, one of the main ones. She starts out her story. Her story starts out with, I did not know that I had been raped until everybody else started coming forward. Really? She said that she suspected that she had been raped because of certain things that happened. But when everybody else started coming forward, that's when she knew, Now, I'm going to tell you something. When you are violated, you don't keep going back to the person. Trust me, any person who's truly violated, oh, he was such a great guy, we had to keep working. Look, I'm telling you, if you're violated, you don't go back. The only reason why you're going back is because you haven't been violated. You might not have got what you wanted. That's obvious. I agree. You didn't get what you want. But that's not rape, And it's so sad when you could see that this man was set up for being a great black man. And he would go down in history as one of the greatest men in Hollywood ever. They couldn't have that. Not no black man. That wasn't going to happen. And I think we should be ashamed of ourselves for allowing that. But I'm sorry, back to the real thing. Oh my gosh, 22. I'm going to be finished in just a few minutes. You guys, I hope you can take a picture of this. This is my platform. What I want to do is get our independence, incorporate. We have been harmed as a corporation. We need to form a corporation and collect for damages done. And that's called subrogation. We need to get a lawyer we need to get an international lawyer, not a national lawyer, of course. And we need to go to the international law and bring our case before them with our corporation in hand. And then we will build our communities and base them on a people-friendly nation. And then the same thing with the American citizens, because black people ain't gonna give up. Where else is we gonna go but America? I got something for you. BASER, which is Black American Citizens, Equal Right, BASER. Okay, we're gonna stop the corruption. We're gonna get equal equalities. We're gonna start with working for Bill Cosby, because we can't let him go down in history where they're trying to put him. We have done so much suffering that there is no way that them targeting him, when we know fully well this was the culture, this is what they did back then, and he stopped. He stopped when the culture stopped, when the laws changed. So come on, what the hell? Okay, so poverty, we're going to knock that out. The laws, we're going to change laws so that people who are discriminated against can actually get action. There is not a single agency in America that will help a black person who is struggling from harassment, from being discriminated against. They will not help you with that. And these corporations know that. In the 60s, you had more help back then, because then the burden of proof was on the corporations. So what the corporations did is they went into Congress and they lobbied and they said, we can't afford to be paying for proving that we didn't discriminate. So change that and put it on the individual because the individuals could afford it better. So that's what they did. That's how smart our country is. The individuals could afford the burden of proof better. So therefore, because of them doing that, what that does is it means that practically nobody is ever guilty ever of discrimination. Okay? We will fix that. And defamation. Oh my God. Black identity extremists. This is serious. So you mean I can't identify black? What about 40 years from now? If we leave this here, this is really bad, you guys. If we leave this here, we will have our children talking about, oh, I don't want to be identified too much as being black because if I do, I'm going to look like a terrorist. Come on. Look at the game plan of what they're doing to us. This is serious. We can't let that stay. It will not stay on my watch. If you pick me for your leader, it won't stay. Another thing with our spirituality, you can see here, Darlie Rotier. She's a white lady on death row in Texas. Well, I thought you were helping African Americans. I am. I'm helping us raise up. And the only way that we could raise up is to also incorporate spirituality. Libation, 10%. You have to give 10% of yourself. So as we're raising up, we have to also take 10% and raise up the similar situations of people that have nothing. There's nothing we gain. We gain nothing out of Darlie getting out of being on death row. But Darlie is innocent. She's innocent, and I don't even understand other than she's this preppy white rich girl, and I think that the prosecutor who prosecuted her was just after, he wanted the fame, and he targeted her badly. I'm telling you, I promise you, there is not one single shred of strong evidence. Nothing, nothing linking her. The main evidence is that she didn't die with her kids when they were killed. Had she died instead of lived after getting her neck sliced, almost to the place where her thick cord was broke, her artery was nearly cut within centimeters, from as I understand it. But yet, she was the one who did all of this and cut herself. And see, I think what needs to be proven, prove one person that has ever gone down, that has come that close to death of self-inflicted wound. One, I haven't seen that, but that's not my reasoning for seeing her as innocent. My reasoning is the idea that because of the silly string, the silly string, she was celebrating her baby's birthday, and the jury watched this tape over and over, and they asked for it again and again, the video of her celebrating her dead baby's birthday. I am that type of person. If I knew that this is what my son really loved, you would never see me hurting. You wouldn't see the hurt. I would get out there and do all I could to give him that day, even though he had passed. And so that really hurt me when I seen that was a major. And even I saw that the what's he called? The prosecutor. That's the main thing he said that was just sealed the cake. She had to be guilty if she could celebrate her baby's birthday. Really? You guys, I'm just telling you, as African Americans, we are all going to come together and we're going to raise up. We're going to set the new paradigm. We are going to change the world. I'm going to show you how. I'm not the only one who believes this. Look at this. Check this out.
That's why I think our people hold so tenaciously to Christianity. But there is a new wave coming. Yes, and when that new wave comes and we're able to build those stronger stills, themselves in their divine destiny, which I believe the African American was born to save this planet. Mm-hmm.
The African American has the blood of the ancients, the Africans of today. So we have the blood of the Africans of yesterday, the Africans of today, and the Europeans. And we have the psychological damage of what being bad humans on this earth inside our DNA. We carry that. So I know inside of us, we want the world to be a people-friendly world. And if you subscribe, vote for me, elect me, and share the video, share this video, I promise you, I will do everything in my power to come together with these other African Americans and help us to raise up and be a better nation. Here is my contact information. You guys, it's getting dark. I notice it. I don't even know if you can see me anymore. It's getting dark. Here, Global Citizens Unite. That's my Facebook group. Please go join me. This is not just for African Americans. This is for everybody. We talk about the Syrians. We talk about the vaccines. We talk about the GMOs. We talk about the chemtrails. We talk about the pipeline against the natives to try to poison them and Flint, Michigan. And we talk about all of it, everything of corruption, the Federal Reserves, the New World Order, all of that. We talk about that. So it's not limited to just black people. We got to come together. But I tell you something, if we get the bottom raised up, then the top has nowhere but to go up, up, up. So let's all have a chance, you know? My name, Sandra Black. Ironic, huh? Born black. Sandra Black. Okay? And my spiritual name, Ezrath Bat Shem. Ezrath Bat Shem. And my website, you guys, please send me comments, ideas, join me. If you have things that you could do, even if it's nothing but prayers, click on there and say we're praying and that we're for you and that you'll let me work for you. Vote for me, you guys. Vote for me, please. I want to make a difference, and I'm really tired of the way African Americans are treated. And one thing I did forget to show you is so much is going on that we will boycott. I don't know if you can see it, but we will boycott. Man, it's so dark I can't hardly see myself. Fox and CNN, so that we could get good representation of real news instead of this garbage they give us. We will boycott Walmart, McDonald's, P&G, Procter & Gamble. Half of your things, everything is Procter & Gamble. The sun is going down on me, you guys. I mean, I'm about to disappear in a minute. So, but when we boycott these they make Angel Soft toilet paper and everything that Trump has boycotted. You see, if we come together, and what I would like for you guys to do, please, let's go ahead and start. When people see that you are subscribing, and we do this by the millions, I promise you, I'm going to boycott all of those places. If you have to watch this video again, fast forward it all the way to the end and get every single company that we're not going to deal with. And I promise you, within 1 week, they're going to be calling us. You get what I'm saying? And they're going to be saying, what can we do? And we're going to say, change these laws. You know, the first law we're going to change is if a person is unarmed, innocent, and you just accidentally was in afraid for your life, which only happens from white cops that get away with it. They always get away with it, or most always, not always, but most always. Black cops never get away with it. Therefore, black cops very rarely, ever, ever, ever shoot unarmed, innocent people. You see? So we need a law that says when you do that and you can't identify the difference between a gun that is seriously coming at you, because we do want you to shoot if a gun is coming at you. You shoot that person, shoot that sucker dead. But when there is no gun, you need to be held accountable. That is called manslaughter. Manslaughter. We need a law, and they need to get nothing less than 10 years. And so when we do that, guess what? All of a sudden, all of this being scared for our life is going to end. It's going to be a gun when they shoot them. So that would be one of the first laws that it will be within 6 months. I promise you. Put me in. Have a good day. Thank you.